AlphaTauri's racing team has been doing much better in the recent races compared to earlier in the season. At first, they found it hard to get points, but things have changed. In fact, they scored more points in the last 3 Grand Prix weekends than the entire season before that. So let's dive into the video and know more about the trick. The team, led by drivers Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda, introduced an upgrade package during the Singapore Grand Prix, which seems to be working well. Since that race, they've earned 18 points, a big improvement from the mere 3 points they had in all the races before Singapore. This progress has moved AlphaTauri up from the bottom of the championship to the 8th position, and they are even competing closely with Williams for the 7th spot. One significant change contributing to their success is related to the rear suspension of their car. They used the rear suspension from Red Bull's RB18 car earlier in the season. However, in Singapore, they made important changes to the rear suspension and introduced new floor and side pods. The Italian medium Formula 1 A1 suggests that the improvement is largely because AlphaTauri decided to copy the rear suspension design of Red Bull's RB19. This shift in the design has made their car more competitive on the track. What's even more interesting is that AlphaTauri isn't stopping here. While many other teams have stopped bringing upgrades towards the end of the season, AlphaTauri is planning another upgrade for the AT04 car in Abu Dhabi. This isn't just about the current season, it's about setting the groundwork for the 2024 car. Red Bull took copying their strategy as a compliment. Red Bull has been ruling the track with their Formula 1 cars, and they're on track to keep winning in 2023. At the beginning of the last season, when new rules came in, different teams had different ideas about how to design their cars. But as time went on, most teams started following the Red Bull way of doing things. David Monahan, part of the Red Bull team, is okay with this. He sees it as a compliment. He says, "It's a form of flattery, right?" He reminds everyone that even Red Bull has looked at what others were doing in the past and made their cars similar. He goes back to years like 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2014 when Red Bull won races with a package similar to Mercedes. So they've done the same thing others are doing now. Monahan believes it's all part of the game. Teams look at what's working well for others and try to improve their cars. He mentions how McLaren back in 2011 changed their car's design to be more like Red Bull's, and it worked. This kind of thing has been happening for years, and Monahan thinks it's a way of making the competition fair. There are no copyrights in racing like in other industries, so teams can take inspiration from each other. He appreciates when other teams look at what Red Bull is doing and try to use it for themselves. It's like saying to him, "Hey, you're doing something good, and we want to try it too." So, instead of getting upset, he takes it as a compliment, which is a nice way to look at things. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri denied being the clone. Earlier this year, the news hinted that AlphaTauri might get a clone of Red Bull's RB19 car due to their growing partnership. But the technical director, Jody Egginton, has clarified that while they're getting more parts from Red Bull, it's not entirely new. They've been doing this since they started working together in 2019. Egginton explained that they've always carefully picked parts from Red Bull's offerings, and this will continue. He mentioned, "The parts we've chosen off the menu have been different since 2019, and next year it'll be a bit more than this year, but similar to some previous years." He highlighted the need to manage expenses too. When you buy parts from another team, it adds to the expenses. So they're making the most of what they can while being mindful of the budget. While there's been talk about AlphaTauri getting closer to Red Bull, Egginton doesn't see it as a big change in their processes. He emphasized that they've always evaluated which parts to take. He said, "There are sporting, technical, and financial rules. Red Bull encourages us to maximize what we can do within these rules." Further, Egginton says the recent focus on this partnership comes from their current competitiveness. When AlphaTauri did well in 2020 and 2021, nobody talked about this. But now that they're less competitive, it's become a topic of discussion. He assured that they were being supported, but not controlled by Red Bull's headquarters. The aim is for both teams to maximize their potential within the rules. Egginton also mentioned that they're making progress on their own new chassis for 2024, emphasizing that while their aerodynamic approach isn't the strongest, they have a clear direction for their new car. They're aligning with what other teams are doing and aiming for better success in achieving their goals. Let's now talk a bit about RB19 and its stats. Red Bull's RB19 has dominated the Formula 1 circuits, winning all 7 races. The team believes that a crucial part of their success lies in the design of the car's floor. Let's delve into what makes this floor so special and why Red Bull thinks their rivals can't instantly replicate it. The RB19's exceptional performance is attributed to its floor and the car's underside. This became apparent when Sergio Perez's car was lifted following a crash during Monaco qualifying, revealing a crucial part of Red Bull's winning formula. While Red Bull wasn't thrilled about their car being exposed in this way, they are confident that just seeing the floor doesn't mean other teams can instantly copy it. Chief Engineer Paul Monahan acknowledged the situation, saying, "It's not great, we don't put our car up in the air like that, but it has happened and we'll move on." Monahan explained that there's a time delay between rival teams seeing a design, implementing it on their cars, and actually gaining speed from it. Copying the floor isn't just about replicating its geometry, it needs to integrate seamlessly with the overall design of each team's car. He emphasized, an ignorant copy isn't necessarily going to go faster. It has to integrate. It is not just a bit of floor geometry, but is certainly sensitive on these cars. Red Bull has a well-structured development plan for deploying improvements to make their car faster. Changing this plan could disrupt their strategy and potentially delay their rivals' ability to catch up. Monahan noted, "If we change someone else's development plan, then we probably increase the phase lag by which they can get it to the car." Red Bull predicts that other teams might take until the Japanese Grand Prix to catch up with their floor design. By that time, they expect to maintain their lead while sticking to their disciplined development path. Monahan concluded, "Around Japan time, we'll see where everybody is, but we've got to maintain our discipline and development path. It's only our car that we can change. We can't influence what those guys do, so we'll keep plugging away in our own manner and we'll try to be quickest." Not only this, there is news for the evolution of AlphaTauri. Recent updates suggest that AlphaTauri is on the brink of transformation. The team is considering changing its name for the 2024 season and looking to establish a deeper technical partnership with Red Bull Racing, the reigning world champions. Red Bull currently operates two F1 teams, with AlphaTauri serving as a platform for the company's junior drivers to kickstart their careers. Previously known as Toro Rosso, the team adopted the AlphaTauri name, reflecting Red Bull's fashion brand. The passing of Red Bull's founder Dietrich Mateschitz last year led to questions about the future of the junior team. Despite offers to take over AlphaTauri, sources reveal that Red Bull has rejected such proposals this year. Mateschitz's son, Mark, who owns 49% of Red Bull GmbH, is reportedly against selling. His father's vision was always to compete with two teams in the championship. Rather than selling the team, Red Bull is exploring finding a title sponsor for AlphaTauri. This approach aligns with teams like Sauber, with a title sponsorship partnership with Alfa Romeo. Red Bull's motorsport advisor Helmut Marko envisions a relationship between Red Bull Racing and AlphaTauri similar to that of Ferrari and Haas. This involves sharing as many parts as F1 regulations allow. Marko emphasizes, "The course is clear. Follow Red Bull Racing as far as the regulations allow." As part of the transformation, the AlphaTauri name will be retired. The team is gearing up to welcome new sponsors and adopt a fresh identity, signaling a new era for the Faenza-based outfit. The driver lineup at AlphaTauri is currently under scrutiny. Marko acknowledges concerns about Nick de Vries's performance and hints at a potential replacement. Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull's third driver, emerges as a strong candidate to take on a more prominent role in AlphaTauri for the 2024 season. So, what do you think of AlphaTauri's strategy and becoming the champion candidate for 2024? Comment below and subscribe for more.